Let's have a little look at a completely, I'm certain, absolutely fair and unbiased article about the Twitter files that are all coming out. Where basically, you've all seen the Twitter files by now. You've seen the threads, the information that was handed out to certain journalists. Basically, accounts were being deboosted. Shadow banning actually was a thing. Accounts were being terminated for right-wing opinions, and they didn't even break the TOS. And also, President Trump's account deletion and banning from Twitter, and etc., etc., and all of that other stuff. Basically, the stuff that we all knew was happening and knew was sketchy, but now we finally have evidence to prove it. And all that happened was a lot of the left-wing outlets went into damage control. Anyway, I'm sure this article won't be like that. It's from The Guardian. I'm sure. I'm sure they won't just go damage control, and I am sure they won't just continue what they were doing at Twitter, and we will receive all of the honest, unbiased information. And away we go. Techscape, I read Elon Musk's Twitter files, so you don't have to. Already we're at the start of, remember, any of the information you're getting about these emails, you're getting from us. Already. I mean, in the fucking title, damn. In this week's newsletter, the leaks don't reveal a hotbed of left-wing bias at the social media company. Just a thin-skinned billionaire rehashing culture wars of years past. The threat model of a social network is complex. Your security team has to deal with conventional hacking attacks as hostile actors probe for technical errors in your app and servers that they can use to extract valuable private data, inject malicious code, or simply wreak havoc for fun. They also have to deal with people using the site's own capabilities in destructive ways, from simple-minded spam bots through to nation-states carrying out coordinated, inauthentic behaviour. They have to protect users from account takeovers due to password theft, and they have to do it all while navigating the minefield that is content moderation. And then the site gets bought on a whim by a capricious billionaire, and the threat comes from inside the house. I mean, this seems fair. This seems like a very fair article. Yes, absolutely. Elon buying Twitter was the problem. I'm sure you're very upset about that. I wonder why. Elon Musk has been pushing the Twitter files, a series of Twitter threads from friendly journalists using material provided by the company to relitigate the company's role in the culture wars of years past. Typically, big news stories claiming to be something files are based on enormous leaks, providing a hitherto impossible look at the inner workings of the organisation under the microscope. It is less typical for an enormous leak to have been ordered by the chief executive of the company and executed by their subordinates openly working with the journalists reporting on the story. But little about Elon Musk's Twitter is typical, which is why I'm enjoying it so much. What of the files themselves? A week and a half in, there have been 4 releases from 3 writers, Matt Taibbi, Barry Weiss and Michael Schellenberger, all broadly part of a wave of post-liberal Substack newsletter writers. It's unclear how they were selected to receive the documents. One requirement, however, was that everything they published be shared on Twitter itself, Taibbi said, but beyond that, we've been encouraged to look not just at historical Twitter, but the current iterations as well. I was told flat out I could write anything I wanted, including anything about the current company and its new chief, Elon Musk. At the same time, the reporting was done inside Twitter's offices with the assistance of Twitter staff. And all 3 have focused on the areas that one might guess, given their previous statements about the social network. Taibbi's first thread covered Twitter's efforts to respond to the New York Post story about Hunter Biden's laptop. His second thread, as well as Schellenberger's, looked at the events around the suspension of Donald Trump and the January 6th attack on the US Capitol. Weiss, meanwhile, reported on what she described as Twitter's secret blacklists. Another thing that basically, like, see all this stuff, like, all of you that are watching this right now, you knew, right? We are smarter than everyone else. We knew, like we all knew, right? It's just having actual hard evidence out now. It's just gravy. It's just gravy. We're being given information that we already knew. But the good thing is everyone out there that denied it and denied it and denied it, well, they can't now. They literally fucking can't. The evidence is out there. But they will. They'll still try. They are still denying it. I mean, Jesus, we're reading an article of someone trying to do that right now. Freedom of speech versus freedom of reach. Oh, I love that one. The bulk of the material so far, then, has been focused on what are effectively 2 extremely high-stakes individual moderation decisions. One widely regarded as an error in hindsight, hiding stories about Biden's laptop. In hindsight, It's yeah, I shouldn't have done that. In hindsight, a bit like that Muslim guy that won the lottery. Now, the lottery under Islam is classed as gambling. It's classed as gambling, so that's banned under Islam. You're not allowed to do it. The guy bought a lottery ticket, won fucking millions, and when the Muslim community got really angry at him for it, he says, "I'm very, very sorry. I won't do it again." Yeah, it's funny. In hindsight, I shouldn't have done it, but you've done it now. Fuck off. And the other, exactly as divisive as anyone would have guessed beforehand, Trump's ban. The documents shared by Tybee and Schellenberger largely support that reading, shorn of the conspirational framing of the two writers, conspirational. The excerpts of internal emails and chat messages that they have posted appear to show staff tackling the enormous burden that has been placed upon them with a rough mixture of panic and resolve. Heavy is the head that censors. Man, no, the information should have just been put out there. These were things that, see how this democracy that they all claim to fucking love so much, this is the type of shit that directly affects it. I'll have a fucking rant at the end. I rant about a lot about democracy lately, don't I? So yeah, that's a fucking horse shit. Horse shit. It's such a hard job. It's such a hard job censoring people so that everyone will vote for my candidate. Fucking hard. Fuck off. Shut up. In the days following the publication of the Post story on Hunter Biden, that wasn't enough. The executives quoted by Tybee are clearly aware of the prospect of a repeat of 2016's WikiLeaks dump of hacked Democratic Party documents. Anything you get about these emails, you're hearing from us. And move quickly to discuss enforcing a policy against sharing hacked materials. But the materials weren't hacked. And while the chain of custody of Biden's laptop remains murky, it rapidly became clear that the policy was wrongly applied. Twitter's most senior staff were too slow removing the bans as that became clear, and in Tybee's words, erred on the side of continuing to err. Just 2 months later, the same group was convened to discuss Donald Trump. The president had used social media to egg on a protest in Washington, D.C. No, he did not. That turned violent as his supporters decided to storm the U.S. Capitol building. Apart from the guys that were outside initially calling for it in the first place, none of those guys have been caught. Those clean-shaven good guys with the authoritative stances and voices, none of those guys got caught. But they found people that were inside wearing face masks and didn't show their face at all. It's weird, that, isn't it? It's really fucking strange. Slapping a label on posts that would be deleted were it not for the prominence of their author, but by 7th January it was clear that was unsatisfactory in the case of Trump. A series of Slack posts shared by Schellenberger show the team, led by former Trust and Safety head Yoel Roth, I'm going to record a video on him in a minute, desperately trying to invent policy on the fly. All staff except Roth are anonymised in the posts Schellenberger shared. Trump had been given special treatment. He was the president. He was the president of the United States. Left on the site for months after a typical user would have seen his account deleted if that typical user was the president of the United States. At what point does that approach cease to be viable? The answer was clearly January the 6th. But if you give someone special treatment without admitting as such, it just makes it all the more difficult to take it away. Yeah, no, it's not. You were worried that a fucking boogaloo was going to happen. Look, January the 6th was not a revolution, but I wish it was. Weiss's part of the saga is different. Rather than focusing on the narrow world of US electoral politics, her thread takes a more systematic look at Twitter's moderation practices. Working with Ella Irwin, a trust and safety staffer at Twitter, Weiss published screenshots of the moderation pages for some of the site's most notorious users. I didn't make the list. Although I probably am on hopefully not now, was on an internal Twitter blacklist, but I never got my deets posted. I'm upset. Jai Bhattacharya, a COVID skeptic. That's, for those that don't know, that's libs of TikTok. A COVID skeptic, that's not what she's known for. That's not the first thing I would say. For example, I used to skateboard a lot when I was younger. No one would go, "Oh yeah, Count Dankula, the skateboarder." No, you'd say the main thing that I'm known for. Fuck's sake. Was placed on a trends blacklist. Dan Bongino, a right-wing media personality, on a search blacklist. Charlie Kirk, whose decision to attend a protest wearing a diaper caused such second-hand embarrassment it effectively destroyed the Republican youth movement he founded, was set to do not amplify. I've got a feeling this person has a problem with Charlie Kirk. The tags are various examples of what Twitter calls visibility filtering. It's not shadow banning because we use a different word for it. And it's like, I'm going to go around like killing people, and when I get put on trial for murder, I'm going to go, actually, I call it unaliving, so I didn't commit murder, so you can't be mad at me for committing murder. A form of moderation that is intended to impact freedom of reach without affecting freedom of speech. That's not true. We'll talk about that in a minute. Users who are filtered can post what they like, but their involvement in the algorithmic amplification of the site is limited. Some won't show up in search results or trends. Now, that's the important part. Some won't show up in search results or trends. Others won't be recommended to users to follow. The most aggressive form of visibility filtering, which didn't affect any of the prominent accounts Wise highlighted, means that new posts won't even show up for followers and are only visible to people who navigate directly to the poster's profile. Now, here's the problem with that. No, you get freedom of speech. You don't get freedom of reach. Now, that's what we call in the free speech sphere. Yes, out here in the free speech game, we call that the empty room fallacy. Basically, it's like someone dumping you in an empty room and they've built these walls around you so that no one at all can hear you. But the fact that you can still say these things in an empty room where no one can hear you, that means you still have freedom of speech. It's a fallacy. Because you don't, because people forget the actual core purpose of freedom of speech. I mean, the core reason we developed speech as a species in the first place, to relay information to another. So if they take away your ability to relay information to another person, they have taken away speech's purpose completely. But they'll try and say, oh, we didn't take away your speech, but they did take away your speech's purpose. So, it's a fallacy, so that freedom of speech, freedom of reach, no, fuck off. Just let the audience decide what they want to fucking see and hear. Like, I don't understand that. I'm not out here saying, oh, ban communists, ban Nazis, ban that. I don't. I just go, let everybody talk and just let everyone associate themselves into their own little groups, and that's fine. There you are. Let the audience decide what they want to hear. But this is still fucking moderation of, no, we decide. We decide what the audience gets to hear. Rah, rah, rah. Heavy as the head that censors. I'm very tired, in case you're wondering why I'm acting a bit weird. It's also fucking freezing in here, man. I've had the radiators up full bung all day, but I can't get a heat in me. It's because they're not on, so great, that's cool. That's fantastic. Where was I? Not every user Weiss examined was hurt by the moderation. One, Libs of TikTok, was given special treatment, warning moderators to do nothing to it without consulting the site's senior team. Despite that, it still received 2 strikes for abuse and being placed on the Trends blacklist. Now, the reason that that's on there is they basically know that there's going to be a shitstorm. They know that there's going to be a gigantic fucking shitstorm if they do anything to that account, which is why it gets sent to the senior team so that they can make, weigh up the pros and cons. But, I mean, to be honest, they obviously didn't do a very good job because the fucking, Twitter just done such a fucking bad job of being the platform where anyone can talk, where just everybody's laughing as every cunt got fired. Everyone was laughing. I think it's important to distinguish between the Twitter files and the Twitter files. The latter, a big, hyped, coordinated publication, has so far failed to achieve its apparent goals. The person, I was trying to get through this and everyone, they posted receipts. They posted actual fucking receipts, right? And they posted full fucking group chats between what they called the tweeps. the Twitter peeps or whatever the fuck they're called, showing them like laughing and fucking celebrating like right wingers getting banned and all that stuff. Like it's like they're sitting there. It fails to show that. No, what you did was you cherry picked some parts of it, wrote this little fucking stupid article, and then you're hoping that Guardian readers aren't going to go and look at it themselves. That's what you are. You're literally doing the fucking CNN. Any information you get about these emails, you get it. Like that's what you're trying to do. That's what you're trying to fucking do. No, don't read it. Get the information from me. Someone wrote a book called Count Dankula's Giant Penis. And I'm like, no, don't read it. Any information you get about my penis, you get it from me. And it's small. My name's finally back to normal on Twitter. That's so... Oh, I'm so happy. The posts themselves show little of the sort. Some like Weiss's... Oh, no, fact. Sorry. Missed a bit. The through line of the whole exercise is that Twitter is a hotbed of left-wing bias, explicitly aligned with the US Democratic Party. It is. There's even evidence for that. See, if you look at even political party donations by staff in Silicon Valley, guess what political party like 97% of Twitter staff donated to? The answer will not surprise you. And taking unwarranted action to censor speech for politically motivated purposes. Yes, and it has in fact proved that. There's receipts, there's screenshots, there's the tools, there's full fucking chat logs, there's everything. Whoever wrote this article is a manipulative bastard. He sees that his side is taking a very, very heavy loss. Basically, we all saw him in the ring getting a massive haymaker of a right hook to the face, and he's turned around to all of us and went, "He didn't even touch me," while all of his teeth are gone and his nose is in his fucking ear. We all saw it. You're just trying to control the narrative. Which, the funny thing is, Twitter isn't trying to control the narrative, and then he writes an article trying to control the narrative. The posts themselves show little of the sort. Some, like Weiss's, don't even attempt to individual examples of right-wing users being on the end of light touch moderation says little about overall bias. Where left-wing users also given visibility filters, Weiss doesn't say. Where right-wing users given filters more, Weiss doesn't say. Others show almost the opposite, where plenty of easy reasons to remove Donald Trump from the social network in January 2021, but the posts seem to reveal Twitter staff methodically working through their actual rulebook, trying to understand how to react to unprecedented events in a way that doesn't simply throw precedent out of the window. No, they go through the rulebook because then they need a part of the TOS to fall back on. They were like, oh, we really want to punish this guy, but we need a justifiable reason to fucking do it. It's the same as whenever the police want to target someone. Right, I think this is going on. How long is this article going? Sack that. I'm not reading that. Fuck it. Really 20 minutes anyway. Go fucking Google it yourself, right? I don't care. It's late. My eye still fucking hurts. The article's called Techscape. I read Elon Musk's Twitter file, so you don't have to. You know what it is. It's on The Guardian. Right, just go on Google and fucking follow the smell. But I will give a little bit of information right at the end, right? I realise I'm shitting on democracy all the time, and the reason that I don't like the democratic system is, right now, you watching this. Why are you voting for the party that you're voting for? Because you received information about them. You saw their speeches from their candidates, you saw information in newspaper articles and blah, 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 and that is what formed your opinion of it. Now, that is how democracy is on paper. That's how it's supposed to work. Everyone gets to come out and politically state their case. People can choose to either agree or disagree. And then when election time comes, they choose for the party they feel most represents the things that they want. Right? We all know that that's not true. They're not going to give you a single thing they promised. However, what that points out is a very important thing. Information is key to democracy. Key. Primary. Your political opinions have all been shaped by information you have received. And that has shaped who you vote for. Which means if you control the flow of information, you control the votes. Which is why the left are panicking so much.